Welcome to the Money Manifestation Mastery podcast with your host, Lara Waldman, where we talk all things money. Big money, big purpose, big power. Waking up your wealth for heart-centered business owners and entrepreneurs. You are the source. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a deep dive into some of the problems and challenges that my clients have been facing this week. I'll be sharing stories with you of how we overcome these problems and challenges using the Manifestation Mastery method. Remember that you are the source. The creative power to manifest what you desire lives inside of you. And today you're going to be learning how to alchemize any pain, problem, or challenge back into the source of creation to help you expand and evolve into your next level and manifest what you truly desire. Let's dive in. This week, I've been having some deep diving conversations with clients who have been experiencing setbacks and challenges in the areas of business, in the area of finance, and in the area of relationships. And I wanted to share some of these stories with you and how I coach my clients to navigate through these challenges and setbacks. There is a very powerful and simple process to support you with any setback, challenge, issue that comes up. But it does need support because when you are triggered, when you're challenged, a lot of stories come up, mental noise comes up, emotional reactions come up, your nervous system's having a response, and it can create a huge amount of chaos and confusion inside of yourself and keep you separate from the part of you that knows how to manifest, that power within that is ready and waiting to guide you and support you through this process. That part of you gets covered up. And when you're in a reaction, it creates separation from this part of yourself. Now, of course, you're going to have reactions. You are a human being, and you are going to experience setbacks and challenges in the journey of life. But how you navigate through those challenges is everything. And I want to support you to have a faster recovery time, to bounce back faster and quicker, so you don't get stuck in cycles of looping and repeating the same patterns over and over again. I did this for way too long and wasted so much time and so much energy on things that I wasn't going to change from that point of view. My soul, my heart, my body's wisdom guided me through pain, guided me through setbacks and challenges when I finally surrendered and finally chose to listen. And now I just know to go into this process faster, to not waste as much time and energy on things that are just going to take you down slippery slopes, to take you down faulty paths and keep you stuck and spinning your wheels. So first of all, I just want to flood you with all of the love and all of the compassion for whatever you're dealing with. It is not easy. And a lot of the reactions that you'll experience happen on default. They're just firing off through your nervous system, through your mind, your thoughts, your emotions. It's all just happening. To shift this is a discipline. It is a practice. And it's going to take a strong decision to shift and change it. So my first client was really upset by her boss. Her boss wasn't respecting her. Her boss wasn't valuing her. Her boss wasn't including her. She'd been working for this company for many years, offering a lot of value in this company, and she just felt shut out. She took some brave steps to lean into conversation, to essentially ask for a raise, and she was shut down. And since then, she felt that her boss was really shutting her out. This was very hurtful. This was very upsetting and was taking up a lot of mental and emotional energy for my client. So very quickly when I was talking to her, I could see what was happening on the soul level. Now, doing this on your own does require a bit of time and facilitation. One of my gifts is I can see what's going on the soul aligned level and the heart aligned level, and the gifts that are available in every challenge or situation. It doesn't make it easy on the human level, but it's about helping to understand the gifts that are here if we're willing to tap them and receive them. And immediately what I saw for this client was her boss saying no to her, essentially, was the greatest gift, because she had outgrown that role. It was time for her to leave the nest and to step out of that role and go all into her business. She was seeking approval. She was seeking connection. She was seeking for her boss to see her, to value her, and to honor her, to be received by her. And this boss was unable to provide that. You see, my client was still running off these wounded parts that were created at a very young age, where she was taught to seek approval outside of herself, to know her value outside of herself, and was longing to be seen, received, and acknowledged and valued. Of course, we all want to be seen and acknowledged and valued, but you will not get that if you don't find that within first. And what we found was that she had been giving her power away to her boss. She was coming from this small, wounded child place, seeking to that authority figure to validate her. She wasn't getting it. And of course, that's deeply upsetting. But the gift was she needed to come home to herself, to honor herself, to receive herself, to value herself, and to reconnect to her source of power within, to remember just how powerful she is. But for a long time, she couldn't accept what was happening. So she was mentally looping, having emotional reactions, and spending a lot of time thinking about this issue with the boss. And essentially, it's a huge energy leak because it's not actually going to change anything. The process and the practice is about going within. That thing that she wants to receive from her boss, she needs to give that to herself. Because essentially, she was self-abandoning. She wasn't providing that for herself. And she had a series of knocks and challenges where the same pattern was presenting itself of not receiving any support from the external world. And finally, she got the message. Finally, she got the gift, which was that she had forgotten that she was the source. That all she had to do was connect to her being, and her being would guide her through. And part of this practice was releasing and unhooking these conscious and unconscious expectations from others. There was a lot of expectations of how this boss should be or shouldn't be, and a great deal of disappointment that she wasn't meeting her needs. Now, this is completely normal in relationship dynamics, but to shift and change it, we need to start within. Another client this week had been focusing on manifesting love. They wanted to fall in love and meet the one, the person they'd have children with and live their life with. And he met her and he fell in love, and it was incredible. He was having visions of their future together, of their children together. It felt soul aligned, heart aligned. It felt like the one. And shortly after, he found out that she was in a relationship, that she wasn't available. And this created absolute devastation for him. He was in despair for a while, absolutely heartbroken, and hoping that there may be a solution to this problem. Now, as painful as that is, when something you want or something that you love is not available, there is an incredible process to support you with this. So with him, the practice is to come back home to his own inner source. Because what happens is when you see that thing or you want that thing, what we do is we tend to give our power away to that thing, that they are the source, that woman is the source, that they are the answer, they are it, they are home. And we disconnect from our inner connection, our inner home. So sometimes life brings you what you want, but not quite. It's just out of reach, or it's not available. It's like the greatest tease. And the process is to come back home and hold space again for what you want, and detach from that person, that place, that thing, that experience as being the source, and coming back in. And part of this process is to be with the pain. So step one is to relax, to breathe into the moment, to connect to what it is that you want, and release. So release the attachments, the ideas, and the emotions that come up in what you want not being available or losing what you want. Because as soon as what you want shows up, we get attached and we want to cling. We want to grip. We're hoping and praying. And as natural as that is, sometimes it can really block what it is that you want. So in this case, as painful as it is to fall in love with someone who's not available, there is so much gold in this opportunity. There is so much gold in this opportunity. And the practice is coming back to the consciousness of the heart, consciousness of the soul, and consciousness of the body. Because that part knows what's up. That part knows how to help you navigate through this situation. But the releasing is releasing all the emotions that come up. Because in the not having, or in what you want not being available, it's going to trigger old wounds. It's going to trigger old patterns. It's going to trigger old stories, old beliefs. And it's going to reveal your perception of reality, your point of view, or your past history that's been running you consciously or unconsciously. But it's very painful. And it's really hard to hold that. But holding space during these times is everything. So the painful practice here is for him to come back home to his heart, home to his soul, home to his body, home to himself. Pull back those expectations and hold space for what he wants, unhooking from that attachment to that specific person, but also holding space for possibility, because we don't know what's going to happen. All sorts of things could happen. When you come back home to the power of your being, it reshuffles everything within that then reshuffles everything without. Because your energetic system, your nervous system, the way that you think, the way that you perceive, the way that you feel, all affects your perception of life and what can come in and out of your lived experience. But that space of holding what you want in the face of not having it, in what I like to call the void space of the in-between, when you don't have it, is masterful. It requires a great discipline, because your brain is going to bounce all over the place. Your emotions are going to be up. Your nervous system is going to be having all sorts of reactions. And sadly, many people shut down because they're trying to protect themselves from pain. And the bravest thing that you can do in these moments is to stay open, to not shut down, not protect, not hide. But this is a practice to help you balance your mind, balance your emotions, regulate your nervous system, come back home, be brave to feel all the feels, allow whatever needs to come up, to be released and cleared. And in this, you are starting to rewire. You're starting to rewire your system by holding what you want and who you need to become, embodying that version of you. Now, when you're triggered and you're challenged, embodiment becomes harder, but if you sit and hold space for long enough, you'll come back home and click in. And essentially, you'll feel calmer, more settled. You might still feel sad. You might still feel hurt and disappointed, but you're holding that. And then opening back into what you want. So opening all of your energy centers, opening your mind, opening your heart back into life is one of the bravest things you can do. To stay open to life in the face of hurt, in the face of disappointment, in the face of rejection, in the face of loss. It's brave. And it may not happen immediately. You got to be patient with yourself. But witness the reactions that come up in the not having, in the kickback, in the setback. And as hard as it is to hear this, that in the example of my client, where the love of his life, he thinks, is not available, on a soul level, on a heart level, even if it's soul aligned, sometimes that gift is in not getting what you want, because that heart and soul connection has come up to reveal, to heal a pattern. And in this case, in falling in love with someone who's not available, we want to go in and be like, where are you not available? Where are you not available? To yourself, to life? Where have you shut down? Where are you hiding? Where are you protecting? What kind of games are you playing inside around availability? And this is a really hard thing to find on our own sometimes. It's why this needs facilitation. But I'm always guiding my clients to look at the mirror. What is this mirroring back to you? And it's not always a direct mirror, but we want to go find it because there is so much gold in this. And what I've found is sometimes the greatest gift and the greatest gold and the greatest evolution actually comes in not manifesting what you want. Because it forces you to be with yourself, to get curious, to process pain. And sometimes process patterns that you didn't even realize were running you. It's so interesting. It's so revealing. But I also want to make sure we are remembering the human in this and how hard it is. And so I'm always going to flood you with so much love and so much compassion. But we don't want to get stuck there. We want to get back in the saddle, back in the game. Brush yourself off and come back into alignment. Back into alignment. That soul alignment, heart alignment, body alignment. What is this situation calling you into beyond this external person or experience or thing? What are you being called into? What is this growing you into? Where's the opportunity here to keep rising, to keep becoming, to keep expanding, to keep evolving, to keep healing, alchemizing? Because that is what the power within you and your creative intelligence is designed to do if you stay open. And remember that holding space for yourself is part of the manifestation mastery process. And don't expect to do this by yourself and on your own. You need to be held. You need to be supported. And you need safe spaces to do that. And spaces that are heart, body, soul aligned. Because when you have aligned support, it helps you to fast track this process, to unlock and unhook so much faster. It elevates you. And it allows this whole process to be much simpler, much easier, much quicker. Doing this on your own is a slower and harder process. It's not impossible. I do it every day. But when you have aligned support, it elevates and fast tracks this process. So I'm curious what's landing for you at this point in today's conversation. How can you use these tools and practices to support yourself with setbacks, with lack, with not getting what you want, with disappointment, with hurt? How can you use the Manifestation Mastery Method to help you get back in the saddle and expand beyond this current situation, but use the current situation as your activation? So I would love to hear what is landing for you, what you're learning, what you're discovering, how you want to use these tools in your life. And remember that there is so much support here for you inside of the Living Abundance ecosystem. Check out my website, larawaldman.com. You can apply for a free wealth expansion session with me. We've got the upcoming Wealth Retreat, which is my free online 7-day event. And we also have a special offer currently to join us inside of the Living Abundance Mastermind, where you will learn how to become a manifestation master and be held and supported through this process. We've got an exceptional space with a very special offer that's only on for a limited time. So come and check out the link below. Come to our website and you can find out what's available to support you to dive deeper into this work. It is so beautiful. It is so powerful. And there is a whole world of wealth that's ready and waiting for you on the other side of whatever pain, problem, or challenge you're currently experiencing. And I'd love to support you with this. So head over to my website, larawaldman.com, and I look forward to diving even deeper with you very soon. Thank you for joining us for today's conversation. You are the source. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you could take a minute to review and rate this podcast. Follow and subscribe. This will really help us to get this podcast out to more and more people. Thank you so much, and I look forward to being with you again next time.